At Manhattan University, a graduate degree is not out of reach. You'll gain real-world skills, credentials employers value, and connections to New York City's top companies. Choose from their new Master of Science degrees in Healthcare Informatics, Digital Marketing and Analytics, Business Analytics, or Financial Analytics, all built around hands-on learning and industry partnerships. Graduate ready to lead, not just work. Take the next step at manhattan.edu/graduate. Manhattan University. Lead the future.
Listen, all you New Yorkers. Taxi! Okay, we're looking around.
This is the 77 WABC minicast.
As we are talking about Iran, guys, our next guest knows the evil of the Iranian regime all too well. Kevin Hermening was one of those who was held hostage by the Iranian regime, the famous hostages there in 1979. He was held in captivity for 444 days by armed Iranian terrorists, and was the youngest of the hostages taken in the first group there. And joining us now is former U.S. Marine Corps Sergeant Kevin Hermening, who is now running for office, by the way, in Wisconsin, which is really wonderful. Kevin, first of all, I can't even imagine what's going on through your mind as you see what's happening now with Iran. Tell everybody what this regime is capable of. You saw it firsthand.
Well, saw it firsthand, as have many other victims and men who gave their lives. I mean, look at some of our CIA operatives in Lebanon and the Marines, the 241 Marines in Lebanon. I mean, this has been a regime that has been sponsoring international terrorism, sponsoring their para-terrorist groups like Hezbollah and Hamas and the Houthi rebels in Yemen, right? This is an ongoing thing now for 47 years. And, I'm watching with great interest, and of course, everybody is praying for the troops and praying for the families of those who've already lost their lives in defense of freedom. I guess when I think about our time in captivity, I can't talk about our situation without remembering the 8 heroes, the 3 Marines and 5 airmen who gave their lives during Operation Eagle Claw, trying to rescue us. And from our perspective, there were many men in our situation who had a much different situation than my own. I was a young man, just 20 years old, but there were, as a Marine Guard, didn't have nearly the very terrible, traumatic experiences of men like Colonel Charles Scott, who was beaten severely during the opening days of the time we were in captivity during his interrogations, or men such as Tom Ahern, who spent 425 days in solitary confinement. So these are the guys who really paid the ultimate price, either giving their lives or certainly leaving half their soul overseas during those 444 days. I just am feeling so much gratitude having come home to this country that welcomed us home, and I'm a big, strong believer in the greatness of America. And quite candidly, I am very hopeful that someday the people that I have leave behind in Iran, that they will have an opportunity for freedom. They'll have to figure it out themselves. We can't install their leader. They have to find him or her.
Yeah, no, that's a great point.
They'll have a chance at a liberal democracy of their own.
Do you believe that they can? I mean, obviously, before everything happened there and the Shah, and there were it was such, as you know, it was such a westernized, progressive, very educated society, right? I mean, there is a lot of potential with the right leadership.
There is, and whether it's the woman who won the Nobel Peace Prize, who I don't think has her own natural political group, or the Crown Prince, who has spent the last nearly 5 decades in the United States. I mean, he has more of an organization, I think, including people there. But most of the people who were fully westernized have either passed away because they aged there, or they've lived so long under the thumb of tyranny that it might be difficult even for him to consolidate power. So we have to provide the tools and the resources, but we can't put boots on the ground and occupy and put their leader in place ourselves.
What was it like being there? You were in solitary confinement for a bit of time. Just kind of describe the situation you were held in.
Well, I had tried to escape in January of 1980, about 3 months after we were captured. I was just quite literally, frankly, tired of being there. And I thought that I might be able to, during one of the times they took us down the hall, to take a shower or to a different building. In fact, in my situation, make my way out of the building, get to the wall, scale the wall, get up the street about a mile, and maybe get to the British Embassy, where I thought that they would shelter me until I could get back to the States. But unfortunately, that didn't happen, and I spent 43 days in solitary in a small 5 by 10 foot square room. Right? It was not pleasant, but again, nothing compared to some of the experiences of my colleagues. I had a roommate who, Bill Keogh, who was an educator, had arrived in the country just the day before we were captured. And Bill Keogh was a huge guy, 6 feet 9 inches tall, weighing about 350 pounds. But he developed a terrible illness while we were there, but we didn't know why. He was losing so much weight. He was stricken with Lou Gehrig's disease, ALS. And Bill Keogh lost 200 of his 350-pound body weight in captivity and died less than 2 years after we got out of captivity. So there were people who definitely went through a lot of struggles while we were there. But I was fortunate. It wasn't a picnic. I wouldn't ever choose to be there, but not nearly as much as the other fellows. And 2 women were held hostage, by the way, the entire time we were there as well.
Well, you are a real American hero, and thank goodness you came back to share this story and to give insight as to how brutal this regime really is. All Americans all over the world have to hear your story, and I'm glad you're running for office, too, because we need more people in the military, and you certainly understand the threats against this country, too, also well. So thank you very much, Kevin. You got to come back on again soon. Thank you.
I'll look forward to it. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Rural Americans deserve access to the best of what our country has to offer, especially health care. Across every state, every community, America's rural hospitals are the first line of defense, protecting our families, neighbors, and loved ones. No matter where you live, hospital care doesn't clock out. They're there 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Each year, America's over 5,000 hospitals care for millions of patients, providing 24/7 emergency care, delivering babies, cancer treatments, and other life-saving care that patients rely on. Behind every one of those patients are doctors, nurses, and caregivers working tirelessly to keep people healthy and safe. Hospitals are our community's lifelines. They employ our neighbors and keep our families healthy. But now, some in Congress are threatening access to care. Tell Congress, protect patient care to keep America strong. Don't cut rural health care.